Hello and welcome to another video tutorial on understanding body language, liars, cheats and happy feet. So tonight on the 11th of July I'm going to cover Area 51. Now I'm sure you've all heard about this and the folklore associated with Area 51 and the Roswell incident in 1947. Anyway, so the video I've got you for you today is by Bob Lazar, who claims he worked at Area 51, and he had seen 9 different alien aircraft, and he's given a detailed account of those. Anyway, I've got a video lined up for you today, so let me just make it a little bigger so you can see it.
Rumors have circulated that within Area 51 is a large Air Force base where top-secret military testing and experiments occur. Area 51 probably.
So we'll start at the beginning. You can watch it. Bob's interview's in for another minute or two, but I'll keep it running. You can keep an eye on it. Obviously, we don't need to really read the other people that are talking about the actual place near Area 51, so we'll just keep it running.
Probably has Aurora aircraft, the successor to the SR-71. I know it's got a lot of, they're called unmanned aerial vehicles. These are these remote control devices, which can even fire rockets.
Area 51 is exempted from federal, state, interstate, and local environmental laws. And when questioned, the government's response is no comment.
There's quite a bit that happens just over the mountains here.
Just like to point out at this point that this red dot here is not a UFO, it's actually the light from my camera, so just to clear that up.
You see military exercises, you see flares, you see airplanes, helicopters, unmanned vehicles. Other than that, you see things you can't explain.
It's difficult to locate Area 51.
So there's a lot of study and science behind Area 51. Obviously, if you go anywhere near it, it'll be shot. And obviously, all the security around it and the space around it is prohibited. So I think
Since it's not
Bob's interview's coming up shortly.
The airspace over the area is heavily restricted, and high fences surround the perimeter. Trespass here at your own risk.
You will be
If you're on
shot.
the ground, there are sensors all over the place to pick up motion of things that shouldn't be there. And as one guy called them, the camo dudes, guys in camouflage outfits in their jeeps will come traipsing after you. If you're in the air, they will send fighters up after you.
The helicopters have some serious armament. When they shoot you, you're going to be dust.
But there's one rumor that always generates the most excitement.
I thought that they had reverse engineered the spacecraft that supposedly they found crashed in this area.
That rumor stems from the experience of Bob Lazar, who claims he worked at an ultra-secret division of Area 51 called S4.
Right, so Bob Lazar's interview starts now. Let's just scoot back a touch. Now again, we're looking for any signs of honesty, deception, lying, guilt, shame, anything, any micro expressions, any fleeting expressions, any macro expressions. We're looking for his responses during the interview. So let's just have a look. It's not on for very long, by the way, but let's have a look.
Crashed in this area.
That rumor stems from the experience of Bob Lazar, who claims he worked at an ultra-secret division of Area 51 called S4.
S4 was built and maintained only for one reason, and that was to house and to test any other recovered alien technology.
So from the start, we have a slight pause at the start.
Bob Lazar, who claims he worked at an ultra-secret division of Area 51 called S4.
S4 was built and maintained
2
only
second
for one
pause.
reason, and that was
Creativity.
to house and to test any other recovered alien technology vehicles.
Lazar says he was a trained physicist at the Los Alamos nuclear facility, and that in 1989 he was approached about a secret government research project and flown to Area 51. Lazar initially thought the spaceship had been developed by the U.S. military.
They said, this is an alien craft, and we want to be able to duplicate it, and we want to know how the thing works.
As the
Now then,
senior
that
staff
speech
physicist,
tone there
Lazar
is without a doubt the hallmark of honesty. Watch it again.
by the U.S. military.
They said, this is an alien craft, and we want to be able to duplicate it, and we want to know how the thing works.
As
Honesty.
the senior staff physicist, Lazar was in
Which is
charge
very
of
interesting.
analyzing the ship's propulsion system.
Here was an incredibly complex system. There was nothing even as simple as wiring connecting subsystems together. So it operated more like magic.
So he's laughing. Now then, did you know that when we start laughing during our stories and stuff, it's almost disbelief, and it's a creditable sign. If you start laughing during your interrogations with the police, it's actually quite a good sign, because it shows lightheartedness, and that's a good sign. And a lightheartedness during something like this is, again, classic hallmarks of honesty. FBI interrogators will know that. So this potentially is looking good for Bob.
It operated more like magic.
So there you go. So by magic and the laugh at the end, and that comes with honesty.
Every single waste thing that was going on was being utilized by something else. So it was, for all intents and purposes, completely perfect.
Now then, watch that again.
Connecting subsystems together. So
these hand gestures are synced to his words.
It operated more like magic. Every single waste thing that was going on was being utilized by something else. So it was, for all intents and purposes, completely perfect.
He's using illustrators, and they're completely perfect with the palms open, just like so. The completely perfect palms open gesture comes from honesty. And this movement here would have derived from his limbic system. So the honest area of his brain. So whatever Bob is saying here has the hallmarks of honesty again.
Purposes completely perfect.
Over the next few months,
And if you
Lazar
notice then,
and
his
his
hands
team
do not
made
go
little
into a manipulator.
Purposes completely perfect.
When our hands start clenching together after we've just said something, it's not a good sign, it's a restraining gesture. His hands go back to his immediate baseline of when before he started talking.
Over the next few months, Lazar and his team made little progress in understanding how the craft worked.
We were dealing with something that could have some just fantastic impact, but at the time we didn't even have the slightest chance on how to duplicate the system or really even understand what was going on.
So again, palms open, gesture, honesty, timing and synchronization between gesture and words.
Lazar would get called into work erratically, sometimes late at night. After 6 months, the calls stopped coming. Lazar told a few close friends about his experience, and then things got scary.
They started following me around more than usual. And friends that I hung around, they even started noticing people following us around. And I started getting a little concerned, thinking, am I all of a sudden going to get wiped out in some way? And this really started looking like a Mission Impossible episode.
Lazar claims he went public with this story to protect himself. But many people, like UFO experts...
Now, this bit's pretty interesting. Keep an eye on this. Rewind it slightly so we get the full interview in. This is very interesting.
Episode.
Lazar claims he went public with this story to protect himself. But many people, like UFO expert Stanton Friedman, don't buy any of it, calling Lazar a fraud.
He isn't a nuclear physicist. He doesn't have a degree from anywhere. Didn't go to MIT or Caltech, as he claimed. That he didn't work for Los Alamos. He worked at Los Alamos for a subcontractor.
But Lazar...
Notice the complete comparison and the differences between body language here from this guy here and his body language is the restraining gesture of the hands held clasped tightly together at the front of his body, compared to Lazar's open palm gestures and articulating with gestural timing with his hands. Is completely contrast.
MIT or Caltech, as he claimed. That he didn't work for Los Alamos. He worked at Los Alamos for a subcontractor.
But Lazar insists that the government deleted all of his academic and professional files.
They've gone to great lengths to discredit everything that I've said, and successfully so, in many respects.
The only pacifier that Lazar makes is that bit there. Now, a pacifier is when when we're asked a hot question and we're not overly comfortable in talking about it, is we'll make some kind of pacifier. Now, normally that can be a hand-to-face gesture, it can be a hand rub, a knuckle rub, it can be lint picking, taking an imaginary hair off your jumper, just moving it. In this respect, it's a hand-to-face gesture, which again is significant because Bob Lazar doesn't make any other hand-to-face gestures or any other noticeable pacifiers throughout this video. So I think that bit there is significant, and that again is his limbic system, what Joe Navarro calls his limbic system, and it's the brain telling the body just to pacify me because I'm not comfortable in discussing this. So I think there's a lot more than what he's not letting on. But bearing in mind what the sensitivity of what he's talking about, Area 51, and the whole thing with aliens and stuff, it's not exactly common knowledge. So he's obviously wanting to conceal
He worked at Los Alamos for a subcontractor.
But Lazar insists that the government deleted all of its academic and professional files.
They've gone to great lengths to discredit everything that I've said. And
Watch for the pacifier.
successfully so, in many respects.
There you go.
Something they always told me, it's one of the easiest things to keep secret because it's so unbelievable. And that really is true. If I heard this story from somebody else, I don't think I'd buy it. It's pretty far-fetched.
Only the government knows for certain if Bob Lazar's story is fact or fiction. But the truth is out.
The truth is out there, it certainly is. So that's my body language analysis complete. Now again, this is only a very short interview done by Bob Lazar, so you can't really get an understanding of his baselines, his gestural timing, his words, his phrases, his idiosyncrasies, you know, his key body language movements when he feels at rest. However, from what I can see, throughout this video, he's showing certainly the hallmarks of honesty with those open palm plays, the timing and synchronization between his gestures, his hand gestures, and his word usage is fine. Again, in contrast with the guy who's discrediting his credentials. Again, he was making a manipulator. He was having his hands clasped. So again, we've got a lot of different comparisons here. On a lighter note, this chap passed the lie detector twice on everything he's just said there. So is that significant? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So there you go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video analysis on body language. I'm fascinated by all things supernatural and UFOs and things like that. But anyway, there you go. Anyway, so everyone here, it's Understanding Body Language. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care, and bye-bye for now.